Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Movie Magic Show for Wednesday, the 30th of March, 2022. I am one of your hosts, Shane Bailey, joined by my wickedly talented cast. To my right, it's the film-folating, TV show-hating, thought-elaborating Mr. Movies, Ben Stapleton. I did not expect that. That was amazing. And to his right, it's the dulcet tones in your headphones, here to engineer a sincere atmosphere, Terry Fear.
Good evening.
How are we, gents? Ben, thank you for channeling Mr. Mira for us.
Yeah.
He is in absentia today.
But it's like he's here with us because of how well that was executed.
To that, and to your point earlier, Terry, Ben runs away from the from his computer with like 30 seconds to go or something, and yeah, that's definitely of Jason.
Mira sprints in and then screams obscenity right before the show starts.
Oh boy.
How are you, Mr. Movies?
Doing good. Watched a couple movies this week.
Good.
One of them was good.
One
of them was okay.
Fulfilling your duty. Anyway.
It was okay.
Good. Mr. Fear, how are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a good week so far.
Good to hear. We already have Maxi in chat. Thank you again, sir, for joining us. Always happy to have you come along. Has the crew seen the first episode of Moon Knight yet? I have not. Moon Knight's, I think dropping around 7 o'clock local Sydney time each Wednesday evening. We will review it on the show once the series has wrapped, so look out for that. We won't be reviewing it each week as we go, though. But we'll get to it eventually. I think it finishes sometime in May, so we will get around to it. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Moon Knight, at least not this week. We're here to talk about movies, because this is the Movie Magic Show every Wednesday, 8:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We chuckleheads get together to love, like, bash, and trash the latest the entertainment world has to offer. If you like that, follow us here on Twitch. We can watch the show live, or you can catch all our past reviews, our past episodes on my YouTube channel. Just search Magic Casts, or one word, on YouTube. Find all our past reviews there. And then follow us on Twitter as well, at Movie Magic Show. We'll notify you when we're going live and which films we're going to be reviewing this week. Those films are The Farewell, a 2019 dramatic comedy starring the one and only Awkwafina, who we love on this show. And then in the second segment, we will be reviewing Nightmare Alley, the Best Picture nominated film from the very, very creative filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. We'll also play a little movie actor go to break it all up. Before we get to that, though, we need to set up our end games. These games that we like to play with you at the end of the show. First among them are our film quotes. We're going to give you two separate quotes. You need to guess which films they're from. I defer to Mr. Movies Ben Stapleton for movie quote number 1.
I don't know who's got the loot. I don't know if anybody's got the loot. I don't know who's dead, who's alive, who's caught, who's not.
No bells ringing over this side, Terry. What about you?
I have an educated guess, purely based on the content of the quote. But no, not ringing a bell.
Anyway, I'm hoping the second quote, courtesy of yours truly, will ring some bells. I don't even need to read it. Here it goes. Next time,
the Lion King. Sorry.
It's the Lion King. So here we go. Next time you gamble, bet your own life.
Oh. Yeah, that does ring some bells.
Know this. I know this.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know.
Ah, damn it. I thought it'd be like, just on the edge where you're like, oh, I know it.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, I know it. Why do I know it? And I've got it. Yeah.
Nice.
I think we got it at the exact same moment.
Awesome. And the other game we like to play is 6 Degrees. We're going to give you 2 actors. You need to link them via actors they have starred alongside. The Dulcet Tones has our pairing this evening.
I do indeed have our pairing, and what a pairing they are. I hope sincerely they are not in the same movie together. We have Javier Bardem, and we are linking him to Natalie Portman.
Javier Bardem to Natalie Portman. To Maxigeek's point, I think this is easy. I reckon we go 2.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
I reckon we can do 2. I reckon 2 degrees. I reckon it's doable.
Yeah,
These are very prolific, recent actors, large body of work. I reckon we can do it.
Yeah. I didn't put a huge amount of thought into this. I didn't do like the Ben.
Maxi, you can do it in one. They're in the same movie.
No, they're in the same movie? I knew this would happen.
Anyway, Those are our end games. We'll go to them at the end of the show. And before we dive into our first review, I quickly want to plug something that's scrolling by in the ticker. Coming up at the end of April, I'll be doing a 12-hour charity stream raising funds for cancer research. So please join me from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. On Saturday, the 30th of April, as part of Game on Cancer's Superhero Streamers campaign. Full disclosure, I work for Cure Cancer, the charity that's putting this whole shebang together, but looking forward to doing the longest stream I've ever done, 12 hours, much longer than what will be my second longest stream. I think the longest I've ever streamed on this channel is like 3 hours, 3.5 hours tops.
Wow.
So this is gonna be fun. There'll be plenty of fun challenges. And I'm also hoping, guys, I haven't even asked if you'll be available or anything like that, but I'm hoping we can do some kind of Movie Magic Saturday special, maybe just like a bunch of verses and Movie Actor Go, maybe even Survival of the Nerdiest. We haven't played that in a long time. You might even remember what that was.
No, I do. That was like we had to list the number of movies that an actor had starred in, right? All of the...
That's right. That's right.
Like that?
I name an actor, and you guys go around and you try and like list as many films that actor has appeared in, and then we go around.
And then we go around, and
you've
got to hope, and you got to hope that you've got ones that other people haven't got.
That's it. Yeah.
But you want to save them up, and I remember that game.
That's
a great game, Shane.
So I think
it's got me feeling nostalgic.
I'm thinking we do a bit of that, and I'm also thinking, and again, this is not something I've planned at all, but I would like to do the movie actor. Movie Actor Go Battle Royale that we mentioned the other day. Get some of the viewers in. Maxi Geek in chat. I'm sure he'd come in here and school us all. So I'm thinking that's the plan. I've got to put it all together, but that's the idea. Saturday the 30th of April. Be there or be square. Anyway, let's dive into our first review of the evening. It's going to be of The Farewell. Let me dive over to the deets here. The Farewell is a 2019 American comedy drama film written and directed by Lulu Wang. It stars Awkwafina, Shima, Diana Lin, and Zhao Shuzhen. Oh my goodness. The film follows a Chinese-American family who, upon learning their grandmother has only a short while to live, decide not to tell her and schedule a family gathering before she dies. The film is based in part on director Wang's life experiences, which she first publicly discussed as part of her radio story, What You Don't Know, which appeared as part of an episode of This American Life. The film was screened in the US Dramatic Competition section at the 2019 Sundance Film Festival and was theatrically released in the United States on July 12, 2019 by A24. It received widespread acclaim from critics, with particular praise, for Wang's screenplay and the performances of Awkwafina and Xiao Shuzhen. At the 77th Golden Globe Awards, the film was nominated for 2 awards, including Best Foreign Language Film, with Awkwafina winning for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. The Farewell is a bilingual film in English and Mandarin Chinese. Audiences really enjoy this one, 7.5 on IMDb from 62,000 users, and critics even more so, a Metascore of 89. Gentlemen, take a stab at the Rotten Tomatoes.
95? 94? 94, 95, 95.
94.
97% certified fresh.
Damn it.
This is like best picture Metascore right here. 89?
Yeah.
89.
Yeah.
That is exceptionally high.
That is very,
and 97%, only 3 out of 100. Giving this one the thumbs down. The Dots and Tones of Terry Fear. You were unable to complete your assignment for this week.
I didn't read the episode preparation thing clearly today when I was playing. I was like, I have time to watch the movie between when I finish work and when the podcast happens. What movie? And I watched next week's movie. So I'm so sorry.
Good.
I've watched one, but I've missed this one.
It'll just be between Mr. Movies and myself, but I highly recommend that you check this one out.
I definitely will.
I enjoyed this one. But I'm going to pass it to Mr. Movies. Ben, The Farewell, sir. I think it's safe to say that we've enjoyed most of the Awkwafina films that we've reviewed on the show. Actually, now that I say that, I'm not sure we reviewed Crazy Rich Asians on the show before, but we have spoken about Raya and the Last Dragon and Shang-Chi. But
I thought we had. I love that movie.
Crazy Rich Asians. I love Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Great movie.
Yeah.
But Mr. Movies, I'm passing it to you, sir. What did you think of Awkwafina's one of her more recent films?
As far as doing what a movie is supposed to do and instilling this feeling and writing the theme of the film all the way to the end. I thought it did mostly very good job. Like I was mostly extremely annoyed at that these people would be doing this to somebody. Like, I mean, like I can understand the opposing view at the same time, but also like it was a huge cultural awakening slash shock slash rebelling that I was going through the whole time watching this thing. Like, all right, you find out before the person does that they're mortally climbing out, that they're going to die very soon.
Terminal lung cancer. Yeah.
It was that they said 3 months or less was the prognosis. And then you decide to lie and say you're fine and tell everybody else the truth. And so that everybody else gets to go through this horrible process of burdening yourself with a lie and getting to say goodbye to the person that you love without them knowing that that's what you're doing. Like, you're lying in the connection that you're making. You're lying in the excuses you're making to make that connection. It was just, from the core, such a horrible premise, fucked up premise for a film. And I liked it a lot. Like, the movie was fine. It was very, like, it had funny moments despite what I've just said. Like, it doesn't sound like a real funny movie, but there's like some humor to be had just because of the absurdity of it all. There's this problem again with the language gap. Like, I'm sure that the translation is accurate, but I'm not sure how I'm to read into the subtitles. You know, there's that gap. There's the gap of Nene, the dying grandmother, talking to Billy all the time and calling her like stupid child, and it's obvious that it's supposed to be like a lighthearted, like she's supposed to be making fun of her, or it's supposed to be a nickname or something, but there's a cultural gap there where, like, the first few times I'm like, she doesn't like her granddaughter that much. She keeps calling her stupid every chance she gets.
Yeah. But
that's just the most obvious example of what, like, that's just the example that I'm sure there's a bit of a gap there. There's probably 100 things that I didn't know that was to be interpreted one way, but was like actually said in a different light with a different inflection, or something is behind there that you can't tell because you're not hearing it in the language that you listen in. You're reading it in the language you read in, and there is a big difference. So that was a problem for me following along, and it also meant I had to pay strict attention to the bottom third of the screen the whole time, which I mean, everybody knows that's just one of the things you accept with subtitles. I don't want to defer and tangent away too much and talk about subtitles, but lots of people I know that review and watch movies will only watch with subtitles on, so they don't miss any of the dialogue. And I've got a big problem with a number of things like that. The biggest one is you laugh before the joke happens, kind of thing. Like, I was watching with Caitlin's mum, who watched a movie with me, a funny movie. I think it might have been Don't Look Up. No, it was another comedy on Netflix, and I had seen it before. It might have been Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yep.
And she would laugh because the whole punchline is there, and he hasn't said it yet. Like, you haven't heard how much better it is than inside your head when Bo Burnham delivers the line, and she'll laugh over the top of him finishing the sentence, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, it's too much for me. But anyway, that's as far down there. I'll come back to the farewell. I wrote a lot of notes. One of my notes, I was getting really angry, and I wrote, this movie should be called The Lying Assholes, because these guys are all fucking assholes. And here's the thing, Shane. I don't know if you agree with me here, but I don't know if the director here, if this was made on purpose to show us everybody is making little lies all the time in this family. And it starts at the start where both Nene and Billy on the phone are just small white lying to each other. Like, where are you at right now? I'm at my sister's place. She's not. She's in the hospital waiting room. So she doesn't want to say that she's there because she doesn't want to make her worry or whatever. She doesn't have any diagnosis yet. Like, it's not like she's, you know, got any reason to make somebody worry. It's just, you know, I'm here for a test or whatever because I had a cold and it won't go away. That's like, you're hearing that is fine, but instead she's lying, and it's so obvious that she's not at her sister's place because you can hear like people talking over loudspeaker and bustle and hustle of the whatever, and then someone will be talking where Billy is in New York City. Someone's asking her to sign some petition or whatever, and she signs it. It's like, who's that? Oh, it's just my friend. Like, she doesn't want to explain it was just some random person on the street, because her grandmother will say, like, don't talk to strangers on the street. New York's a dangerous place or whatever. She just finished saying about how people in New York run up and steal your earrings or whatever. And she's like, I'm not wearing any earrings. And she is. So they're just lying all the time, lying on the small scale, lying on this big scale when the plot of the movie comes to light. And again, lying all around it. Like, the first act is Billy goes home and her parents know, but they don't want to tell her because they want to plan to go to China without her and leave her in New York to not say goodbye to her grandmother because she'll ruin it. She can't keep her emotions inside like everybody's supposed to, and lie to her grandmother for a week about the reason that she's there. And she eventually makes them tell her, and they're like, your grandmother has got cancer and she's dying or whatever. And like, it's just like, I find lying in most of its forms like just like from ridiculous to abhorrent. Like, it's just outrageous that you can solve a problem with lies to me. Like, I don't do it to the point where I'm out lecturing people about it or anything like that. But I really do think that the answer to any problem is the truth. Just telling the truth in it. Like, if you're a good person, then the reason behind what you're saying, truthful as it is, should go with the truth. And it's hard to explain, but you should. And I mean, like, there's this dumb movie called The Invention of Lying with Ricky Gervais, which I hate. It's a really bad movie. It isn't the invention of lying. It's the invention of just not saying what's on the top of your head all the time. Like, the gag in that movie is you fart in the elevator. It's like in Liar Liar, and you go like, I just farted, or like, and now I'm thinking about undressing you, or something like that. Like, just because it's true doesn't mean you had to say it. Like, you didn't have to say that part. Now he's like out on a date, and he's like, now I'm really embarrassed, and I think you're gonna leave. And she'll say something like, I think you're fat and ugly, but I'm going to stay anyway because I'm too embarrassed to leave. And then they just sit there in silence. And that's a joke, apparently. I don't know. Right, it was a weird movie, but
it was like, even the lie of omission doesn't exist, so they can't not say what's on their mind, because that would be lying by omission, and that the concept of it just doesn't exist until it does, and then fun ensues.
Now look, I was just trying to get to an end result here, where it's like, some people think, well, if you don't always tell the truth and someone comes to your door and says, you know, where's your family? I'm going to murder them, and you have to tell them the truth. It's like, no, the truth is also, I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a good reason, and I'll tell you the reason if you really want to, and that would be also the truth. But that's just getting away from that stupid Ricky Gervais movie. It's not the epitome of telling the truth at all times. Anyway, I'm just stuck on this whole the lie thing. Even the start of the film starts off with, instead of this film is based on true events, it's like, this film is based on a true lie.
It's based on actual lie,
actual lie, right. Yes, didn't love the whole lying thing. There's also a rug pull at the very end, which just made the whole movie feel like a lie in itself, if you will. Like I was expecting this thing that was going to happen, and it just never did. There was never the final act catharsis moment that I was hoping for. It just ended, and then a rug pull in the credits, and then I'm like, all right, and I just turned it off. Like, fine, like, I had fun, and now it's over. That's life, I guess. That's just the based on true events movie. You have fun, and then it's over. That's kind of exactly what happened here. You have fun, and then you die. and in the based on true stories movies, they're good and then they end. Like there isn't an ending to a movie that's based on a true story. It just finishes, unless it lies in some way. Oh, except for Zero Dark 30. What a bloody ending!
Oh yeah.
Oh, love Zero Dark 30.
Yeah.
Other things, just little things. There was this great editing of it was almost like a montage together where things are coming off the rails and the family is starting to bicker and fight and things are getting really depressing, and it's like arguments in the hospital, followed by like a fight with her mother, and then like and the crescendo is like Billy's looking, like Awkwafina's looking at the bruises on her back from the cupping that she had earlier that day or whatever. They went to a massage parlor to try and relax, and her auntie who runs the place insists that she gets cupping done, and she's like, this hurts, and she's like, you'll be fine or whatever. And she's just looking at her bruises because cupping is awful. Have you guys done it?
I've never done
I've
it.
not
but,
done
like,
it. I've seen
seeing
it.
the result, I'm like, no, I don't want this on my body.
It's gross. I asked about it once. I was like, what are those cups for? And she's like, I'll show you. And she like did the cupping thing to my back. And I was like, oh, this is really weird. And it's like this really pulley sensation on your back because she's literally using fire to create a vacuum inside of the cup that's sealed onto your back, and it bursts your blood vessels and you get huge bruises on your back. It's terrible.
Yep. So what's the
And
benefit?
I got these.
It's clearing the toxins.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not based in science at all? Or?
It was interesting. There was a period of time where competitive swimmers were doing it because of some reason. But yeah,
I'll look into it before
banned.
I pay for something like that.
Yeah.
It must have something to do with recovery of the muscles or something for the swimmers. But yeah, I didn't enjoy my cupping. And then I noticed that was just, that was like a shot that wasn't needed. Like it was just there as a crescendo to the montage of feeling that we're getting, where everything is off the rails and everybody's depressed, and then it ends with her just like looking at her physical wounds in the dark in her bedroom. And I was like, yeah, that was the first like real cinematic moment, I guess you could say. Like the rest of this is almost like a mockumentary kind of deal, like almost like a TV show. It's shot like a 2-camera TV show. I do have just more specific things. I love there was this point where the purpose of them all coming to visit Nene and say goodbye to her or whatever and lie to her in a week was a wedding. They invented a wedding of her other grandson, like her grandson on the other side of the family. I don't think he was actually getting married, or
I think they were. They
were really getting married.
They were really getting married. But yeah, I think they felt pressured to. Well, they rushed into it essentially,
right?
Just to be able to, have an excuse to bring the family together. They've been
so
dating for 3 months.
Nene and Billy are out with the soon-to-be newlyweds at the pre-marriage photo shoot, which apparently is a thing. You do the photos before the wedding, and they're literally talking about. Nene is literally saying stuff like, this is their big day and it's such an important day for them, and when are you going to get married or whatever. And they're in the background, literally blurry and out of focus behind Billy and Nene talking. And I thought, perfect use of framing to show us that this marriage is actually the farthest thing from the most important thing going on right now. It's way in the background, especially in Billy's mind. And even probably the grandson who's pretending to get married or whatever, or getting married against his will or whatever, so that they can all be together for the week. I love that beautiful use of imagery and framing that they did there. That was really great. I loved the humor of Nene constantly passing health tips to everybody. Like she was saying, you look terrible, you should go and lay down, and you should do this with me. It gets the toxins out and it's very healthy. It's why I'm so healthy right now. Like she's just dancing around the fact, without knowing it, that she's sick, by like passing all these health diagnoses onto her family. It's kind of like one of the jokes in there, how they just have to go yes, no, you're right. You're so healthy, and I'm sickly. You're right, kind of deal. They just have to bite their tongue and bear it.
That is also a very Chinese cultural thing. Like if you're walking down the street and it's even mildly chilly, and you're not wearing a coat, someone will say it's cold. You should wear a coat.
Right.
Like
that's actually a good point.
Yeah, culturally they are, and they're not being nosy or anything like that. They're just like, obviously this person has not realized what temperature it is, and that they forgot to put their coat on. I should remind them.
You guys know that when I watch a movie, I will like just mentally flag poll. I'll go, that's the best line in the movie. That's it.
I do it now then, because if you say it how often that you do. And the best shot as well. I'll be like, best shot in the movie.
Yeah, right. But there's a couple of best shots. I like the taxi going away when you're looking out the back window and how they made the camera turn without you feeling sick. I liked how they did that pan. Anyway, the best line in the movie, I think, is Billy's uncle.
Yes.
Talking about how in the Western culture, it's different to East culture. You guys have been in America forever. You think about your body like it's yours. Like you are the owner of your health. In Eastern culture and the way we do things here, you have a greater responsibility to your family, to society, to all of China. We have a two-way street kind of thing with your health. We're helping you, like exactly what you said, Terry.
Yeah.
It reminded me because, like, it's your health is our responsibility now too, because we all belong together. We're all a unit. More than just a family. We're a single structure or something. I don't know.
It's interesting because it's a part of I've been reading Dune, and so the Fremen culture is very, very similar. There's a collective, like, but with reference to water, like everybody's water is the tribe's water, and so you being healthy and not dead is good, but if you did die, your water becomes the property of the tribe. It's
meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's this other last thing, Shane, and then I'll stop, I promise.
Oh, good.
Are Chinese people like abhorrently have a terrible relationship with death or something? Like they're talking about how you have to show your grief so outwardly that some people will hire professional grievers to come to a funeral and wail and cry and show how important the dead person must have been and raise their status in society by showing just how great of a person it was that they'd lost and how much they feel for them so much, and they have to cry and scream and all that kind of bullshit. And then they literally go to the cemetery to visit Nai-Nai's dead husband, and they go through this whole ridiculous ritual of like opening up packs of chips and putting them on the grave. Like she's like, you have to peel the orange, otherwise he can't eat it. And they're like peeling the fruit and leaving it for him. And the son, Billy's dad, he like lights up a cigarette and takes a quick drag and then like puts the cigarette on the grave. And she's like, don't give him a cigarette. He quit. It's like, he's fucking dead. And he's like, the gag there was really good. That was like,
I love that.
He didn't quit. He just told you that he did in the last weeks of his life, but he kept smoking. Like again with the fucking lying all the time. And then the uncle said, like his brother, the other son says, let the man smoke. He's already dead. What else could happen? Kind of thing. And I was just like, what are these people doing around death? Like it reminded me a lot of the Departures. Thank you. Again, like with the this time, that was
Japanese.
That was Japanese.
Yeah.
So, but again, there's like this
the stigma.
Yeah, this weird relationship with people passing on.
I did know about the whaling and the professional whalers element. I don't know enough about Chinese death culture specifically to know about that. I do know cremation is their preferred method of burial. And I'm not sure where
that's
that
weird, because in the movie, one of them says like, when I die, make sure you cremate me and put me in the sea. There's no reason for me to hang around here. All the family's moved on or whatever. And then her daughter-in-law or whatever says, but you're Chinese. We all you can't do that because we're Chinese and we want to be buried or whatever. So I don't know.
No, I think her
I
exact
think it's
words are
both.
like, we need to return to the earth from where we came. So I think being cremated and scattering your ashes on the earth is still okay. Like,
Right.
that would be a preferred method of
It is considered bad, and also that's why they don't like the number 4, because that's the number of death or something like that.
I think that's Japanese. She is the same word for 4 and death. The only reason I know that is there was speculation before the PS4 launch that it would be called the PS4 because 4 sounds too much like death. Maybe it's Chinese as well.
She, well, 4 has more than one pronunciation. One of them is she, but it's not the only one.
That's why.
Same as I think
There's other little things that annoyed me that happened in this film, like force feeding. I don't know. Did this annoy you, Shane? Where it's like, you look so hungry, take a bite. It's like, I'm not hungry. It's like, nonsense. Take a bite. Like, you're wrong, I'm right.
That's Asian culture, Ben.
Oh, I hate that shit. It's like, am I dying? Like, look, lady, if I'm hungry, I'll fucking eat. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're hungry, you eat it. Otherwise, when I'm hungry, I will.
I don't think that's uniquely Chinese. That's like grandmothers everywhere. There's like memes all over Reddit. It's like, you're a growing boy and you go to Nana's house and they feed you. So it's like,
actually, yeah, I said Asian. I think it's Asian culture, but it happens in Coco, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Miguel's grandma's just like, I said, do you want more tomato or whatever that
tamales?
Yeah. And it's like, yes, grandma.
Well, see, my nan's house was called the eating house because we would like gorge ourselves, but it was never like, eat more, eat this. It was just that she had delicious food there. And and she would offer. That's what it would be. Would you like a cake? Oh yeah, I'd love a piece of cake. You know, oh, how about another snack of this or whatever? Oh, love one. Thanks, Nan. It was never like, you're getting too thin. You should eat this. You know, that kind of thing. I don't understand that whole thing. Anyway, I'll stop now, Shane.
So
please take it from me.
Did you enjoy it? I can't like.
I don't know.
I was like, when's the review coming?
Like, it made me feel heaps. It's just that it was mostly me being annoyed at everybody. What's wrong with you people?
Well, to pivot, I love this film. I love the questions it pose. I love hearing your perspective, Ben, because I think that is the most interesting thing to come away from. It kind of reminded me of Woody Allen film in that sense, you know, like you come away from Midnight in Paris discussing the pros and cons of golden age thinking and how, you know, it's in some ways the downfall of the characters in that movie, but in other ways, you know, it's part of their comeuppance as well. So yeah, I just love the questions posed by this film. I think on the nitty-gritty level, everyone is fantastic. Awkwafina and the actress who played Nai, their chemistry is brilliant. I don't think it could get any better. I think they play their roles perfectly. And yeah, I love the way that they explore the theme of what death means to you know, people from Western culture and Eastern culture. And yeah, you put it perfectly, Ben. That topic, that question is brought to the forefront when the uncle is describing the key differences to Billy's character, Awkwafina's character. So yeah, that's really my summation of what I enjoy most of this filming. I like that it forces you to ask the question of yourself, you know, if my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer, you know, would we tell her? And for me, it's a resounding yes. But they make a compelling argument as to why they think that's not the right option. And in their culture, they explain very well and give the argument for their side of the coin. So yeah, it made me came away thinking, maybe I need to rethink, you know, how my own perspective on death and what it means. It kind of reminds me, Ben, like, you know, we talked about the emotional burden of bearing, of holding the truth. I remember years ago, I think it was with you, we had a conversation around cheating and whether you wanted, like, would you want to know if your partner was cheating on you? And the idea being that if if your cheating partner was to tell you the truth, that all of a sudden that baggage, that emotional burden has just been lifted off of them. They feel better for coming clean, but now all of that pain is now landing on you, the victim in this scenario. So is it a good thing to be told the truth in that sense? And it's the exact same thing with this film, where I can now see both sides of the argument. I can see the pros, I can see the cons, and it's forced me to, yeah, I suppose, dance around that question and ask myself, what do I truly believe in? So in that sense, I think this is a fantastic film because it's making me reflect on my own life, and they've done it in such a entertaining way. I think Awkwafina is great in this more serious role. I love her. I think she's 4 for 4 at the moment. Like, of those movies that I mentioned, this, Shang-Chi, Crazy Rich Asians, and Raya and the Last Dragon, she's knocked it out of the park. So she's quickly, in the last few years, becoming one of my favorite actresses. I really, really enjoy her. That's me, man. I love this movie. I think it's great. I can't wait for you to watch it, Terry. I think
I feel like you guys have done a fairly good job of not necessarily, like, the little things. I don't feel like you've spoiled anything. This kind of does what it raises one moral question for me, or one ethics question, and that is how do they square what they've done with informed consent around medical decisions? Obviously, if the prognosis is like there is 0 things that can be done, there's no kind of informed consent decision from a medical standpoint, but they haven't given her any agency over what she wants to do with the last bit of time that she has. And that raises, and culturally there might be a bit of a different assessment or viewpoint or perspective or something, but I can't help but think of this from the perspective of what would I want to do with my last 4 weeks or 3 months, or whatever the length of time is that I actually have, if I was to be given such a prognosis. And it's like, would I want all of my time to be beholden to my family coming and unburdening themselves and dealing with their own grief before I go? And I don't actually think that that's what I would want, but that's me. There is this collective culture that they have, so her health isn't necessarily her own. Maybe that's what she would have wanted to do, but it kind of leaves that question unanswered. They took that choice away from her, so I kind of feel a little bit bad about that before going into it. But I'm intrigued. I think I will watch this despite having missed it for the review.
No, that's all right. We can quickly touch on your thoughts next week. But yeah, no, they pose it really interesting, right? Because Billy notes that this would be illegal in America. Like, they couldn't get away with this. And there was another point that I wanted to make around the lying. What was it? Oh, that's right. It's their belief in China or Eastern culture that it's the knowledge of knowing that you have a terminal illness that will kill you, not necessarily the illness itself, or that it would lead to a faster demise, or the quality of life for your remaining time on Earth.
Be worried and stressed, and that's for sure.
Yeah, so
there might be some anecdotal efficacy for that.
Yeah. Anyway, The Farewell. It's on Netflix, so you can go check it out for yourself. 89 Metascore, very, very high.
So this is a don't miss.
Oh, the voting. That's right. Thank you, Terry. Forgot about the bloody verdict. Ben, what say you, sir?
All right. Don't miss it.
Whoa!
It's fine. It's good. Like, it does its job. I am really annoyed at that rug pull, though. If we could go into spoiler territory, I'm not asking to. I'm just saying, if we did, I would have some more things to say. But there's loved it, except for the ending.
So don't miss it from me as well. Really adored this film, and I can highly recommend it to anyone. I emailed everyone at work this afternoon saying, I saw a great film the other day, 100% recommend. Here's a trailer in case I haven't sold it to you. Go watch it. Anyway, that is The Farewell. It's available on Netflix.